Todd from Missouri. Welcome to the program, Todd.
Yes, thank you, Sam. Enjoy your program and enjoy you on YouTube all the time.
Thanks. I appreciate you calling in.
I have a question. I know the mainstream media just barely touches on this. The fact that the sister-in-law said something about her being a prepper.
Yep.
And I live here in the part of the country in the southwest part of Missouri, and I live out in the country, and of course, I'm a gun owner, but it is for protection. But I live in the heart of, the Republican, gun-toting, redneck, et cetera. And just my observations are that all these gun stores have told me over and over again that since all the conspiracy theories have started on everything from Hitler living in the middle of the earth to reptilian shapeshifters, that
Mount Shasta
sales have just been through the roof. And, I don't know why the media doesn't address this. This woman not only was a gun owner, but she possibly passed these ideas to her mentally disabled son, and created this situation more than we think.
I'll tell you, Todd.
I just don't understand what.
I think this is an extremely important point you're making. Okay, and it's not just the changelings in Mount Shasta. It's not just the Illuminati that's out there. It's not just the one world government that guys like Jones talks about. It's also this notion that we're going to have there's two other elements. There's also this, we're going to have this massive economic crash where people are going to need guns to fight off the hordes. And it's also the NRA sending out all of these paranoid emails about they're coming to take away your guns. Listen, I used to live full-time up in a very rural part of New York State. Neighbors on both sides of me are gun owners. One guy's got a range back there. Neighbors that I can't see, I know they got a gun range back there. I can only hear it. One of my neighbors, I went over there. The guy shows me one day his 22 with a scope. Fine, you got a raccoon that's rabid that's coming down the road. You wanna shoot that thing. He shows me the shotgun, the his and her shotgun with the adjustable butt that they have for protection. Okay. And then he shows me his semi-automatic with the laser scope. And I'm like, what's this thing for? And he's just like, zombies. Now, he's joking, but there is definitely been, and you're absolutely right about this, an environment where people are making money off of creating this type of paranoia, and the idea that this woman is taking her kid to the gun range to practice, and if she believed that this was an important skill because the hordes could be coming when our fiat currency collapses, or we have hyperinflation and people need their freeze-dried food, then yes, this kid is being subjected to this incredible notion of paranoia. And that's highly problematic for someone who is having mental problems.
Well, see, that's been my kind of wonderment about this whole thing is the Bush administration used to have their color codes, and they used to have those crazy public announcement commercials showing, duct tape your windows, and you saw the stuff fly through your house, and what do you do in case the world, look like, what do you do in case the world comes to an end?
Right.
So, I think the government is a little bit, I think they're irresponsible in not really defining the events of 9/11 and what they are really doing to protect us. In fact, it's kept it so kind of secretive
Well, there's
That
been just
creeps,
a general
creeps.
atmosphere of fear that has been created. In fact, yesterday, one of the things that we do the Audible ad, and one of the in the book I suggested, I think it was yesterday, was what was it entitled?
The culture of fear.
The culture of fear, because that is driving so much of this. And I think you're absolutely right. The idea that this story has yet to be told, and part of it is, of course, because all of it's hearsay, and you don't know, and there's sensitivity to talking about this woman, Nancy Lanza, because we don't know. Obviously, she was the first victim. But I think you're absolutely right. This is the sort of underreported story, and it's always underreported because there is a sense among the mainstream press that to in some way recognize what is going on in the most ubiquitous media outlets, and I'm talking like radio and online and these email things. This is, a huge phenomena, and it was the same thing. Listen, it was the same thing back in the early '90s with Rush Limbaugh. None of the mainstream media would report on what Limbaugh was telling his audience. I mean, they believed that the Clintons had, a whole travel gate rolled into killing Vince Foster and dragging his body into a park, and they were murderers and this and that. I mean, this is what Rush Limbaugh was telling his audience. And there is a reluctance by the mainstream media to in any way look into this phenomena, which has far more influence than American Idol. This has far more influence on what's going on than most of the culture beats that these people cover, but it's just beneath them in some fashion. But in reality, the fact is this is having a real impact on our society. It's a great point, Todd. I got to jump, but I really appreciate you raising it.
Okay, well, thank you, sir, for letting me do it.
All right, thanks for calling in. Great point. Great point.
But how can the media win on something like that? Like the mainstream media, like if they report on that, those people are just going to go, "Oh, look, they're trying to hide it. They're trying to."
Well, it's not a question of those people saying it. It's a question of the rest of society being aware of what is actually a growing societal problem. I mean, you have an increase in these mass murders. You have a gun sales through the roof. There's implications to this, and there are causations to this. And one of them is that the public is being fed just, between you got to get the gold because the whole world is going to come down. You got to get the freeze-dried food. There's huge business models. Glenn Beck is a $400 million a year revenue machine based on basically this, with some sort of stuff on the edges.
I think that Rush Limbaugh and people like that is a great example of this, because when that did actually start getting out into the mainstream a little bit, right? Like Don Imus said tons of racist things throughout his whole career, and that was never an issue. And he wasn't even extremely right-wing compared to a guy like Rush Limbaugh.
Right.
But when that comment hit and that actually came to a broader audience, it was like, oh, that's not just some guy who sort of is a little edgy in the morning or whatever. He actually says some pretty just disgusting
and
things.
The exposure, the sunlight on this, it does a lot of good.